Hello, small group folks. My name is Dr. J Cardinell, and each week I offer a challenge for Sunday school leaders. The challenge is given quickly, but if done with intentionality, it can harness the power of your group to reach the people in your community. This is the final installment of a series we're calling Make Room for Folks. In the first week, we talked about physically making room for the people you're expecting to join you in your group. In the second week, we talked about being a room filled with folks, and we talked briefly about outreach. Today, I want to talk about leaving room for your faith family and discuss what we call in-reach. I told you that I was looking over my role a few weeks ago, and I know some things that were good and some things that were not so good. And as I was looking over it, I realized there's a fair number of people in our role, and some of them, though, are struggling to attend on a regular basis. Some of them are struggling because they got some life things happening, some negative things going on in their life, so it's hard for them to get here every week or even every other week. Some people I noticed are on there and they're serving in some great and amazing ways. And these different categories can give us different ways to pray and minister to the people who are in our group, doing in-reach for our group. We talked about reaching out to those we haven't reached yet. Well, let's talk about reaching in to those that we've already reached. The first way we can minister is by praying for those struggling. A lot of times in our groups, our prayer time can be scattered. It can be all over the place. One minute we're praying for Aunt Martha's big toe, and the next minute we're all crying and praying for a group member's child who's facing a serious illness. All over the place sometimes. David Francis talks about groups. He says that they move through stages. You have class, community, and commission. And he says this about the class and community groups. At the class level, prayer requests tend to be rather general or distant in nature. At the community level, prayer requests become more personal. Prayers are not just for someone else's health, someone else's kid, someone else's job situation. They are for our health, our kids, and our job situation. These types of prayer communities take time to develop. The deeper the interpersonal relationships, the deeper the prayer requests can go. As a teacher, you can foster this type of prayer time. You can divide your group into care groups where they meet every week and pray together during your group time, and maybe they even meet and minister outside of group time. Or you can just divide them up differently each week. Maybe a different small group this week and a different smaller group this week, and maybe different couples meet up this week during your group time to pray. They can pray quietly together, or they can just share prayer requests together, and then the group leader can lead a prayer for the whole group. But we don't just pray for those who are struggling. We provide for those who are just surviving. Usually a small group knows about the needs of its members before anybody else in the church knows, even before sometimes the staff or the pastor knows. So small groups are best equipped to meet needs that develop in their small group. These needs can be financial, they can be emotional, and they can be relational. Financial needs might arise when someone loses their job, when there's an expense that wasn't expected, or maybe there's even a house fire, or there's a medical emergency. See, a small group can say, we're going to try and meet the need as best we can when it shows up. Emotional needs develop when a family faces a trying time, or maybe they face a time of loss. And during those times, we really support people by our presence. When someone is struggling emotionally, just our presence at the hospital, in the home, through a text or over a phone call, that our presence can help meet that emotional need. And small groups can do that best because they know each other best. Relational needs develop in families. They develop among couples. And so sometimes those needs are met best by gender-specific attention by someone in the group. Maybe a man calls up a man and says, hey, I hear this is going on, and I just want to tell you I'm praying for you, telling you if you need something, I'm there. Maybe somebody goes and makes a visit to someone who's struggling in relationship issues. See, small groups can meet these needs. We don't just pray for folks. We put our hands and feet to the task, and we go and we meet the needs of those who are surviving. But we also promote those serving. One of the most marvelous gifts of being a follower of Jesus is the gift of service. We get to serve others in our church and our community as the hands and feet of Jesus. Small groups sometimes lose folks to service. Sometimes we lose folks to go teach another class or to teach in age-graded ministries. We should promote those people. We should celebrate those people. How do we do that? We don't lose track of them and say, oh, I guess they'll join us again when their year of service is up. It's like when they get out of prison, they'll come back to us. It's not like that. We should support them and promote them while they're off doing ministry. We do that by maybe adopting their class. If they've gone to teach 3rd and 4th grade, we can adopt their class and say, you tell us when you have birthdays, we'll do the birthday parties for you. You don't have to worry about all that. You just show up, you do your regular thing, we'll throw the party. Maybe we celebrate them by adopting the parents of the kids they're teaching. We know those parents maybe don't go to church, maybe they're in another small group. So we're going to just find ways to bless the families of the kids you're teaching. We should not lose track of those who leave our group to go serve. Our group members serve in other ways. Maybe they serve as a greeter. Maybe they serve on a committee. Maybe they serve on a team. Maybe they serve in the choir. How can we promote and celebrate what they do? Well, for example, maybe you have a group member who serves on, the Building and Grounds Committee. We don't usually celebrate what the Building and Grounds Committee do. Usually we just complain about what they don't do in our minds. But imagine you come into your group on Sunday and you know you have a group member who serves on the Building and Grounds Committee. And you get up and you say, guys, we need to celebrate what they've done. They had the bathrooms repainted this week and they look amazing. Thank you so much for what you do on the Building and Grounds Committee. We don't normally celebrate these things, but just think how it would make them feel. They might be a little embarrassed, but it's going to make them feel good that we've noticed what they're doing. And as part of our group, we should celebrate and promote what they're doing. Over the past few weeks, we talked about making room for people who we're expecting. We're talking about going out and doing outreach for those who want to get into our rooms. And then we talked about celebrating and supporting those who are in our groups already. I hope you're making room for folks in your group. I'll see you next week.